Webinar. So welcome everyone to electronic filing training for the Illinois courts. My name is George Connect and I am with Green Filing. We are one of the certified e-filing service providers for the eFile Illinois system, which we're going to be talking a lot more about today. A few housekeeping notes. One, this webinar is accredited for CLE, 1 hour of CLE for both attorneys and paralegals. What will happen is about 1 hour after the webinar ends, we're going to be sending you an email containing your certificate of attendance. So be on the lookout for that. If for any reason you don't receive it, reach out to me and we'll make sure you get a copy. The length of this webinar is 1 hour. We do tend to go over the hour, 5-10 minutes, answering questions, looking at some additional features of the system. If you need to exit the webinar right at the end of the hour, that's perfectly fine. You'll still get your certificate of attendance. But if you can hang out a few more minutes and participate in Q&A and see some of the additional features, that would be great as well. Throughout the webinar, feel free to ask whatever questions you might have. You can use the questions box in the GoToWebinar control panel to do that. However, we will wait until the end of the hour to answer those questions, just to make sure that we can cover all the material that we need to cover today. All right, so here's what we're going to do today. First, I'm going to give you a brief overview of what exactly is going on in Illinois in terms of electronic filing. I want to point out a few resources that are available to you. And then we're going to spend the rest of our time actually showing you how to e-file. So we're going to use Green Filing as our e-filing service provider. And we're going to do some filing demonstrations, how to file new cases, how to file documents on existing cases, so on and so forth. And again, if you have questions, feel free to ask them throughout the webinar. We'll make sure that we address those at the end of the hour. Before I move on, I do want to point out, I know we have a lot of people logged into the webinar today interested in Cook County e-filing. What we're going to do throughout this webinar is we're going to talk about e-filing as a whole, because this is intended to be a statewide e-filing system. And we'll probably even do some demonstrations of how e-filing works in other counties. But then we will come back around and show you some things specific to Cook County as well. You should know that everything that we're going to show you today applies to Cook County, but Cook County does have some additional features, within the e-filing process that only apply to Cook County. So we'll come back around and show you some of those Cook County specific features as well. All right. So let's get started by talking about what exactly is going on in Illinois in terms of electronic filing. So you may or may not know that the state of Illinois has contracted with a single vendor called Tyler Technologies to provide all the courts the software they need in order to receive and process your electronic filings. On top of that, they've chosen to implement what we call a multiple vendor e-filing model. That is, even though the court has selected a specific vendor to provide them the software they need to receive and process your electronic filings, they've certified multiple e-filing service providers like Green Filing, so that you as the filer have choice in terms of which service provider you would like to use to e-file into the courts. So what this is, a system now known as the eFile Illinois system. The nice thing about the eFile Illinois system is it is intended to be a statewide e-filing system, so that through any e-filing service provider, you will be able to e-file into any county in the state of Illinois using that same provider, that same e-filing account. You won't have to have accounts on multiple different systems for the purpose of filing in one court or another. So currently, there are 96 counties participating in the eFile Illinois system, plus the appellate courts and the Supreme Court. E-filing has become mandatory in the Supreme Court and the appellate courts. That started back in July of 2017. It actually went mandatory in the circuit courts as well in January of 2018. Most of you are aware that Cook County was granted an extension to that, so mandatory e-filing won't become available, won't start in Cook County until July 1 of 2018. But all Cook County cases are available for e-filing in the eFile Illinois system as of May 1, 2018. Now that said, Cook County's case management system is not fully integrated with the eFile Illinois system yet. So some of the features that we would expect in Cook County are not fully functional, but we do expect those to be fully functional within the next week or so. You're probably also aware that there were some exceptions granted by the Supreme Court for some counties in terms of these mandatory e-filing dates. So we just mentioned that Cook County was granted an extension to delay mandatory e-filing and also to transition their caseload to the eFile Illinois system until July 1 of 2018. I also mentioned that their CMS, or their case management integration, is not fully complete with the eFile Illinois system. There's some other counties, DeKalb, McHenry, and Winnebago. They were granted an extension until July 1, 2018 to become part of the eFile Illinois system. So if you have a need to e-file into those counties have their own e-filing systems. You would continue to use those until July 1. And actually, Winnebago County was just granted another extension, I believe until August 31st. So if you need to file in Winnebago, you continue to use their system until August 31st. DuPage County was granted an exception as well. They were actually granted all the way out until July 1, 2019 to become part of the eFile Illinois system. So granted, these exceptions did occur. The goal is still that through the eFile Illinois system, you will be able to e-file into any county in the state of Illinois. And you can see the Supreme Court is sort of adamant about this. They have granted these extensions, but by July 1, 2018, looks like we'll have 100 out of the 102 counties on the system. And then by July 1, 2019, all counties in the state of Illinois will be on the eFile Illinois system. So hopefully that background kind of helps you to understand what the intent is of the eFile Illinois system. It's a single e-filing system. You can choose multiple. You can choose from multiple e-filing service providers. They're not forcing you to use any particular service provider, and through that service provider, you'll be able to e-file through the into any county in the state of Illinois. So I think overall, while it's been a challenge to get this system implemented, it is for the best of the state. I want to spend a moment here and just point out a few resources that are available to you as well. We've created some pages on our website specific to some of the information in Cook County, so I want to point that out to you. And I also just want to share you the efile.illinoiscourts.gov webpage and point some information out on that page as well. So these are good resources in terms of utilizing when you begin to participate in e-filing. So let's start by, I'm going to open my web browser here and just visit efile.illinoiscourts.gov. This is a web page put together by the courts vendor, Tyler Technologies, in order to provide you, the filer, with some information about the Odyssey eFile Illinois system. You can see on the home page here, they've got a big blurb sort of dedicated to this idea of mandatory e-filing. There's links here to those Supreme Court orders that have set these mandates into motion. So I encourage you to read this and check out those Supreme Court orders. I do like to point out on this homepage, there's a nice little document here called eFile Illinois Electronic Document Standards. If you open this up, it's a PDF document the courts put together. It kind of provides some quick links to the different Supreme Court orders and some rules here. And they talk about document formatting. We often get questions about how does my document change or how do I prepare it for e-filing, and really nothing changes in terms of your document format. You're still, your page margins are the same, your paper sizes are the same, your font sizes are the same. It's just that rather than printing paper and taking it to the courthouse, you're saving your documents in a PDF format and submitting them to the court electronically. When you are creating your PDF files, the court does have some file size limits in place for the reviewing courts, or the appellate and Supreme Court. The file size limit is 150 megabyte. If you're filing in the trial courts or the circuit courts, the file size limit is 25 megabyte. So you do want to be aware of file sizes as you're creating your documents, particularly if you're scanning documents. No reason to scan in anything other than black and white or any higher resolution than 300 dpi. You want to make sure your scanner settings aren't as such that they're creating extremely large file sizes. There's some other information on this document too regarding hyperlinks and other attributes that you might put into a PDF document. So it's just a good resource. You can probably print this out, keep it handy on your desk in case you need to refer to it. Also want to point out on this website, there's a link here to the providers page. So these are all the e-filing service providers. Of course, Green Filing is one of those. There's a link here to the courts page. This is going to show you all the counties in the state of Illinois and whether e-filing is permissive or mandatory. Of course, at this point, most of these will say mandatory. But you'll notice here, and I think this is a good resource for any county that's been granted an exception, you're going to see rather than permissive or mandatory here, there's a link to the Supreme Court order that has defined what that exception means for that county. So for DeKalb and DuPage, for example, it's just indicating that they've been granted an extension to join the eFile Illinois system. So this can be a good resource to you as well. There are some counties also that accept payment of filing fees with an American Express, but most don't. So if you need that information, you can find that here as well. Finally, there's an FAQs tab on this page. Lots of good information in here regarding frequently asked questions. I encourage you to read through them all. I just want to spend a moment though talking about number 2, understanding fees. Is there a fee to use the eFile Illinois system? Of course, the answer is yes. There are some fees that come into play. You had your standard court filing fees. We're all used to paying those based on statewide fee schedules and whatnot. On top of that, there's an e-filing service provider fee. So this will depend on the service provider that you choose. With Green Filing, our service provider fee is just $1 per filing submission. So you'll pay any court filing fees, and then our fee is just $1 per filing submission to take advantage of all the features of our system, the support you'll receive, so on and so forth. On top of that, there's something called a convenience fee. Basically, when you e-file, the court's going to require you to pay your filing fees electronically, either with a credit card or an e-check. Anytime you pay for things electronically, there are going to be processing fees involved. And essentially, what the court is saying is, we're not willing to eat those processing fees. So what they do is they tack on a convenience fee on top of your total filing fee. If you use a credit card to pay your filing fee, it's a roughly 3% charge on top of your total filing fee. If you use an e-check to pay your filing fees, it's just a 25-cent flat fee. So you can see it can be advantageous to use an e-check, particularly if there are significant filing fees. And we're going to see what all these fees look like as we go through the filing process and do some demonstrations. So they're very clearly demonstrated to you as you go through the process. All right, so again, just want to spend a moment pointing this out as a resource to you. You can take advantage of this as you begin to participate in electronic filing. Regarding Cook County, they have some specific features and options available. We wanted to point out those things. So what we did is on our webpage under FAQs, you're going to see there's a link here to Cook County Guidelines, Cook County FAQs, and Cook County Case Types. I encourage you to review these pages. They have lots of good information. For example, if we go to Guidelines, there's some features in Cook County that aren't available in other counties, things like scheduling of motions, selecting return dates, and we're going to show you these things, but this kind of points out what those things are. Under the FAQs, we have lots of good FAQ information here. Some of these apply to e-filing statewide. Many of them apply just to Cook County, so I encourage you to read through those. And then finally, we have a page here where we're tracking the case types added to the e-file Illinois. At this point, though, it's now all the civil cases or all the non-criminal cases. So these are all the case types currently available for e-filing in Cook County through the eFile Illinois system or through Green Filing. All right, so let's pop over back to my PowerPoint here. And again, just wanted to give you that brief background and point out some of these resources to you so you can kind of take that into context as we go through the rest of the webinar. So let's spend the rest of our time actually showing you how to e-file. So we're going to use Green Filing as our e-filing service provider to do that. I'm going to quickly show you how to set up an account, make sure it's configured correctly so you can begin e-filing. I'm going to show you how to file a brand new court case, show you how to file documents on existing court cases. There's also something called an unindexed case filing, which we're going to talk to you about. This is for courts who don't have case management systems fully integrated with the e-filing system yet. We'll show you how to monitor your filing status, both through the email notifications generated out of the system, also through the application itself. And then we're going to look at some other features of the system, user preferences, reporting features, things of that nature. Before I go on to demonstrate, I want to share with you in this PowerPoint presentation, I have several slides here with notes about the things I'm going to show you. After the webinar, you're going to receive a copy of this PowerPoint presentation, so you'll be able to take advantage of all of these notes. So you can take notes on your own, but just know that you'll be getting this after the presentation as well. All right, so I'm going to jump out of this PowerPoint and go back to my web browser. And I'm going to start by going to greenfiling.com/Illinois. This is our web page specific to our service in the state of Illinois. Really encourage you all to check it out. You can scroll down here, see all the different features our system offers, the different account options. We have some testimonials and frequently asked questions on here as well. At GreenFiling, we have a lot of e-filing experience. We do this in multiple states, including California, Utah, Indiana, Illinois, Texas, and Maryland. So Illinois is not our only service. We service multiple states, and we take that experience and provide that to you in Illinois as well. One thing that I will mention about GreenFiling is we believe we are the fastest, easiest e-filing service in the state of Illinois. It's a single screen application designed to make the e-filing process extremely fast and easy. The screen just dynamically updates to collect the information we need in order to submit your filing to the court. We also provide 24/7 support by email, by phone, and by live chat. You'll see our phone number, very easy to find here right in the center of the screen. Live chat, always available in the lower right-hand corner of the screen as well. You could also email us, just support@greenfiling.com. If you're ready to get started with GreenFiling, it's very easy to do so. You'll just click the sign up button here in the upper right. This will take you to the sign up process. Just takes a few minutes to sign up and you're off and running. Now, before I talk specifically about signing up, let me mention that the eFile Illinois system is a single sign-on system. So if you have created an e-filing account with any other e-filing service provider certified under the eFile Illinois system, and you want to give GreenFiling a try, or you want to give some other service provider a try, there is no need to sign up and create another account. All you have to do is go to that vendor's system and log in using your existing username and password. It is a single sign-on system, so you can log into any e-filing service provider as long as you've already got an account created on any one of them. So hopefully that makes sense. If you've not created an account already, the sign-up process is very simple. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I won't spend too much time on it, but essentially here you're going to input your email address, input your password or make up a password and a security question. Click continue to step 2. That will take you to a screen that's going to collect your account contact information, name, address, phone number, things like that. And then you'll submit your registration. Once you submit your registration, you're going to receive a welcome email containing an account activation link. All you need to do is click that account activation link. That'll activate your account, redirect you to the login screen, and then you can log in and you're off and running. Now, I should note that if you do not receive that account activation email within a couple of minutes of signing up, do not wait around for it. Go ahead and reach out to us. We'll help you get that account activated manually. It probably means it got caught up in a spam filter or something like that. You should get it very quickly after registering. All right. So I'm going to navigate out here actually to our test system. So I've already created an account. I signed up as a law firm account, and I've actually already added several users to it, both attorney users and support staff users. I've activated my account using that account activation link in the email, and I've been redirected here to the login screen. So I'm going to go ahead and log in to this firm account. And I'm going to log in as a support staff user. So this would be like a paralegal or a legal secretary and kind of show you the system from that perspective. So we'll go ahead and click login. Once logged in, this is going to land us on our system dashboard. And before I jump into any specific demonstrations or functions, let me just kind of give you the overall layout of the application. So I land on our system dashboard. On the dashboard, we provide some quick links to jump into different tasks. We have some help article, quick links here. We always post our system status on the dashboard as well. On the right-hand side, we have some information about our account activity, which we'll go over here in more detail as we go through the webinar. This area that I'm kind of highlighting, currently the dashboard would be considered the main content area of our website. As you navigate around, this is where the content's going to change. Also where you're going to be doing the bulk of your work. In the upper left, we have our main navigation tabs. Currently, I'm on the e-filing tab. So then down the left-hand side, I get sub-navigation related to e-filing. So I see things like initiate a case, file an existing case, look at filing status. We also list all the cases you've been recently working on or looking at so they can easily pull those up and view them. If I change my main navigation at the top to settings, then down the left-hand side, I get sub-navigation related to my account settings. If I go to reports, sub-navigation related to reports. So pretty self-explanatory. Main navigation along the top, sub-navigation down the left-hand side. We also have a support tab at the top of the screen. If you click that, that's going to launch a new web browser tab and give you, this will land you on our help website. And we have all kinds of articles on here about how to do things within the e-filing system. You can search through these help articles here using the search field at the top of the screen. And you can also see that we have posted our contact information, phone number, and email address. Also, you'll notice the live chat support always in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. So you can use any of these support channels, live chat, email, phone, or the knowledge base to find the answers you're looking for. If we close this tab, we're right back into the e-filing system. And I do like to point out, even within the e-filing application itself, that live chat support always available to you in the lower right-hand corner. You could be right in the middle of a filing, have a question about something it is you're doing, and there'll be a live chat agent there to help you 24/7. All right, so now that we have the overall layout of the application, let's go ahead and jump into a filing demonstration. First thing I want to show you is how to e-file a brand new court case. So you'll notice on the dashboard here, we have a section that says to start a new filing. And you'll also notice it says, if you are new to the system, be sure to complete the following tasks. The first task is to add a payment account. Obviously, if you're going to be filing a brand new court case, there are going to be filing fees involved. So you'll need to set up a payment account or a payment method. If I were to click on this Initiate a New Case button and I did not have a payment account set up yet, the system would prompt me to add one. So I land here on our payment settings screen and I get a dialog to add a payment account. Adding payment accounts is very easy. You can give your payment account a nickname, whatever you want to call it, and then you'll select a payment account type. There are 3 types of payment accounts: credit card, waiver, and e-check. Let me first describe to you what a waiver payment account is. Waiver payment accounts are what you would use if you believe you don't owe any filing fees. Maybe you're a government entity who never pays filing fees. Or maybe you represent a client who's already been granted a waiver of court filing fees. In those instances, as you go through the filing process, you're going to be presented with fees to pay. But what you'll do is you say, I want to use my waiver payment account in order to pay those fees. In order to use your waiver payment account, you have to create a waiver payment account. So we do that here on this screen by saying, I recommend giving it a nickname of just waiver, selecting the payment account type of waiver, click continue, and we'll land on our payment settings screen, and you'll notice your waiver payment account has been added. So that'll be available for you to select during the filing process if you believe you should not have to pay those fees. From this payment settings screen, you can add, edit, delete payment accounts. For example, I have 2 waivers. I really only need 1, so I can click delete, confirm, get rid of 1. You're also likely you're also likely going to want to add an additional payment account, credit card, or e-check. So you can do that from this screen as well. Just click the Add a Payment Account link on the right-hand side. And let's say this time I'm adding my Wells Fargo Visa card. So I'm going to give it a nickname of Wells Fargo Visa. I'll select the payment account type of credit card, and then we can continue on. Now, adding a credit card and an e-check, the process of doing so is exactly the same, just a couple minor differences which I'll point out, but we'll go through the credit card process first. So let's go ahead and click continue here. Now it's important to understand that when you're adding credit card or payment account information into the system, you're actually not saving that on GreenFiling. You're saving it on the Courts Online Payment Gateway. So that's what this screen is trying to describe to you. As soon as you click continue, you're now going to be interacting with the Courts Online Payment Gateway. Once we reach their gateway, we have to indicate credit card or e-check again, and then we get your standard credit card form. You've all filled this out a million times on the internet, so I won't bore you by doing that again. But essentially, you'll fill this form out, click continue, and you'll have added your credit card. Now, if you were adding an e-check, you can just go ahead and toggle over here to e-check. Notice it's a very similar form. It's just rather than credit card info, they want bank account info. So is it checking or savings? And then input your account number and routing number. From here again, you'll click continue. You'll then land back on our payment settings screen, and you'll see that either your e-check or your credit card payment accounts will have been added. I do recommend going ahead and adding all three options, waiver, MasterCard, and eCheck. That way, or waiver, credit card, and eCheck, I should say. That way, those options are always available to you during the filing process. You can choose what makes the most sense at the time of filing and to use in terms of payment. You can also add as many payment accounts as you want. You can have multiple eChecks, multiple credit cards. So there's no disadvantage or cost to adding multiple payment accounts. All right, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and return to the dashboard. And notice the next step here says we need to add a filing attorney. Now, if you're logged in as a filing attorney, obviously you can file on your own behalf. You may be able to skip this step. I, however, am logged in as a support staff user, so like a legal secretary. In order for me to be able to file, I have to have an attorney available for me to file on behalf of. If I were to click initiate a new case and I didn't have any attorneys set up in the system would prompt me to add one. So I land here on our manage user screen and I get the dialog to add an attorney. We can add an attorney very easily. All we got to do is put in their bar ID, first name, and last name. And this is all that's actually required to add an attorney into the system. This creates a record of that attorney for the support staff user to select during the filing process, indicating they're filing on their behalf. Now, if you want to make this attorney a user of the system as well, you can go ahead and enter their email address and then check this box to make them a user or a filer. That would create an account for that attorney so that they can log in on their own, file things on their own, look at filings that their staff may have done for them. If you're making them a user, you can make them a firm administrator. It just gives them a little bit more control over the account. And if you're adding their email address, you can also make them a service contact. Now, we're going to talk more about service contacts as we go through the filing process. But quickly, what a service contact is somebody that you can select and attach to your filing during the filing process in order to electronically serve them or generate an electronic service notification email to them sharing a copy of your document. And we're going to show you what that looks like. From here, you'll click Save. You'll land back on our Manage User screen, and you'll see that your attorney has been added into the system. You can have as many users in the system as you'd like, both attorneys and support staff. Notice from this screen, you can click Add Attorney or Add Support Staff on the right-hand side. There's no cost to having additional users in the system. So let's go ahead and return to the dashboard. Now that I have my payment account set up and my attorney set up, I should be able now to go ahead and click on Initiate a New Case. So this is going to take us to our brand new case filing screen. This screen is designed to be single screen. We're just going to have you fill it out step by step to collect the information we need from you in order to submit your new case to the court. So in step one, the first thing we need to indicate is what court are you going to file in? So this is a list of all the counties or the courts in the state of Illinois. You simply select the one that you want to file on. You can also start typing in this field if you want to start filtering the list down. So if I start typing Peoria, notice it immediately goes to Peoria County. So I'll go ahead and select Peoria for this example. And then case type. So this is a list of all the case types available in Peoria County for e-filing. Again, you could filter this down. If I start typing something like law, it's just going to show me all the law cases. Or maybe I start typing something like tort, it'll just show me the tort cases. So lots of options there. So let's see, I'll go ahead and select, let's do some sort of law case. So let's do a contract money due. So now we're going to move on to step 2, where we must identify and upload the documents we're going to submit to the court. So the first field here is a document type field. What is the document type we're going to file? So this is a list of all the document types the court has made available on a brand new case filing. Most likely with a new civil case, I'm going to be filing a complaint. So we'll go ahead and select that. That will then default into the document description field. However, this field is editable. So you could change this if you would like, or you could just leave it as complaint. The next step is going to be to browse out to your computer and select the document you would like to upload and submit to the court. So this is very much like attaching a document to an email. We're just going to click this Click to Upload link here. This will open up the file system on our computer. Now we're going to navigate our computer to select the document we want to submit to the court. One thing to point out here, that the court does require that we submit to them your documents in a PDF format. So if you convert documents to PDF and upload them as PDF, that's great. However, if you want to upload your Word or WordPerfect documents, we'll convert them to PDF for you. So for this example, I'm going to scroll down here. I have a complaint that's in a Word document. I'm going to select that one and upload it. So notice now we sort of create a line item here about that document you just uploaded. The file name is now a hyperlink, so you could actually view the document. And notice the file extension is now .pdf. I had uploaded a Word document, but our system went ahead and converted it to PDF for you. If I click this link, I can actually see that PDF, kind of look over it, make sure the formatting looks good. Everything looks good. I'll go ahead and close that tab, and I'm right back to my filing. Now notice the fields here to upload documents are still available. That's because you can upload as many documents as you need to in order to submit your case to the court. So let's say I had something else I wanted to go along with this. Maybe it's some sort of notice. So I'll select document type of notice. Maybe I'll call it a notice of claim. We'll browse out and we'll find my notice and upload that. And again, our fields are available so we can upload as many documents as we need to. Keep this simple. I'll just stop with 2. I'm going to click on Done Adding Documents and then move on to Section 3, Security and Optional Services. For every document we upload, we need to indicate a security level. So you're going to see things like confidential and non-confidential or confidential and public. Most often, they're just going to be non-confidential or public. So I'll use that in this example. Then you're also going to see here a field called Optional Services. I highly recommend, no matter what you are filing, you review the items that are available here in the optional services. Sometimes, based on the way that the court has configured the system, there are actually things in here that you need to pay that aren't optional. So I'm not sure why they've placed them in the optional services field, but that's why I say you should always review these things. You might find things like jury fees you need to pay, or first appearance fees you need to pay, things of that nature. For this example, I'm just going to leave it as none on both of our documents. I'm not going to select any optional services. And in another example filing, we'll show you what those look like as we go through. So let's move on to Section 4, New Case Parties. So for my new contract money due case, this is going to require that we enter a plaintiff and a defendant. So we've given you a box here to enter the plaintiff information and a box to enter the defendant information. So you'll want to go ahead and fill this out. They can either be an individual or a business. So let's say this time it's a business. So I'm going to just go ahead and make up a company name here. And then we'll put in an address. I'm just kind of making stuff up here. And then we'll go on to, there's a field here where you can also choose the attorney who's representing this party. So this is a list of all the attorneys in your firm. You can simply select the one that's representing that party. Then we can move on to the defendant. Maybe we'll make up a name here as well. This will be an individual. City, state, and zip. And again, you do have that representing attorney party, representing attorney field. But these are the attorneys in your firm. So not likely somebody in your firm is also going to represent the defendant. So we can just leave this blank for now. You don't know who they're going to be represented by. So we have our plaintiff and the defendant. Now, if you have multiple plaintiffs or multiple defendants, you can add them at this time. So that's what this add party or copy last party link is for. If I click add party, this is just going to generate a new box for us to enter another party's information. So I can select their role and go through and enter their information. If I click remove party, that'll get rid of it. The other option here is copy last party. So let's say James Harris I'm going to name his wife as a defendant too, who's got the same address. So a quick and fast, easy way to enter that is say copy last party. That just copies the James Harris party. Now I can say this is Jane Harris. So a very easy way to copy party information so that you can add additional. So you can add as many parties as you need to make up this case. I'll stop there with the 1 plaintiff and 2 defendants and move on to Section 5. In Section 5, I just need to indicate the party I'm filing on behalf of. Most likely with the new case, I'm filing on behalf of the plaintiff, so I'll go ahead and select the plaintiff. Section 6, service contacts. In the state of Illinois, electronic service is not supported, or at least they've chosen not to support it within the e-filing system. So we can skip over this. We'll do a new demonstration. We'll do a demonstration on existing case filing to show you how electronic service works. You're going to continue to do service by traditional means on brand new cases for now. Section 7, we're outlining the filing fees due. So we know for the case there's a $276 fee due. We're not sure on the complaint or the notice of claim, so all you can do is click any of these click to confirm links, and that'll have us reach out to the court to confirm the filing fees, and then we display a new column out here to confirm those fees. So we have $276 on the new case, nothing for the complaint or the notice. We have Green Filing's provider service fee of just $1, and then here's where we see that court convenience fee. So this is going to be $8 in this instance. That's roughly 3% of the total filing fee because the payment account I have selected is my credit card. Now, if I choose this over to eCheck and I click Confirm Fee Calculation again, notice this convenience fee changes to just 25 cents. So it can be very much cheaper, or a lot cheaper, to use an eCheck versus a credit card when you're e-filing. But that's up to you as the filer. Now, if this was a filing where you believed you don't owe these filing fees, maybe you're a government entity, this is where you would choose that waiver option. So you go ahead and choose waiver. Again, you can click Confirm Fee Calc, and this should come back now as 0. So if you're submitting with the waiver payment account, it's going to zero it out. In this instance, I'll go ahead and use my credit card, and then we'll move on to Section 5, or Section 8. Section 8, we're just going to complete the information. First, I'm going to select the attorney I'm filing on behalf of. Remember, I'm logged in as a legal support staff user. So in order for me to file, I have to select the attorney I'm filing on behalf of. So I'll go ahead and select my attorney. Client matter number. This is where you can input your own internal client or file numbers. This is an optional field that will accept any value you want to put in there. But its intention is so that you can track filings against your own internal tracking numbers. This will display on any receipts generated out of the system, any reports generated out of the system, so that you can track against clients. Courtesy copy, this is where you can enter any list of email addresses separated by a comma. And what will happen then is when you submit your filing, Green Filing is going to generate a courtesy copy email to that person, to whatever email addresses you put in here, just letting them know this document has just been submitted to the court. This is not intended to be electronic service. This is simply a courtesy notice to somebody letting them know it's been filed. Maybe it's your client, maybe it's somebody else in your firm. You're just letting them know this is done. Note to clerk. This is where you can type any note to the court clerk that you need to. Maybe you have to tell them something about why you've done what you've done with your documents or with the options you've selected in the e-filing system. Only the court clerk will see this note, and they can take it into account as they review your filing. Finally, we're going to check this box to verify all the information we've submitted above is correct, and then we'll click Submit Filing. So at this point, we're packaging up all this data and documents. We're redirecting you, or we're submitting that to the court. Court is going to acknowledge receipt and will be redirected to our filing status screen, where you'll see your filing highlighted in this green color here. It'll have a status of pending, meaning it's pending the clerk's review, and an envelope number will be assigned. This envelope number is important because it is assigned by the court's system. You know, if you have an envelope number, that the court has your filing. It's also the best number to use if you ever need to contact the court regarding the status of a filing. You can give them this number, and they can easily look up your filing to look at status. Now, as a result of this filing, there are several email notifications that are generated. So I'm going to pop over here into my email and show you what those look like. The first email that gets generated is going to look like this one here. It'll say filing submitted for, and in this case, since it's a brand new case filing, it just has the envelope number in the subject line. If we click that email to open it up, you'll see it's just going to give you a summary of what was filed, who filed it, summary of the estimated charges, and actually shows you a link to the document you submitted as well. This is just a confirmation email from the court letting you know that they've received your filing. The next email that's going to go out is actually generated by Green Filing. It's going to look like this one here, and it's the courtesy copy email we generate to all the email recipients you put in that field. So it's just going to say courtesy copy and have the filing ID in the subject. If you open it up, the email recipient is going to say, oh, okay, I see that this attorney here has just filed these documents in this particular court. Here's a little bit more detail about the filing. And attached to the email, they're going to find a copy of the document you submitted. So again, this is just a courtesy notice to whomever you'd like to send it to, letting them know you just submitted these documents to the court. And finally, the next email that's going to be generated is one letting you know whether or not the court has accepted or rejected your filing. So it's going to look like this one here. It'll indicate the filing ID. It'll indicate whether it's been accepted or rejected in the subject, and it'll have the case number and the case name in the subject as well. If we open this up, upon the clerk having accepted your filing, you're going to receive this email where first and foremost, you're going to see this accepted status at the top, and directly attached to that email, you're going to get a file stamped copy of your document. So this will be generated to you immediately upon the clerk's acceptance. You'll also notice in the content of the email, we have the client matter number, we have a confirmation of the fees that were charged, and the payment account that was used. So this is probably your best version of a receipt that you could easily share with bookkeeping staff, accounting staff, whomever you might need to in order to have these fees billed back to your client. You'll also notice in this email, there's a link to the case itself. So in a brand new case filing, this is your first indication of the case number that's assigned. And then if you click this link, this will open up that particular case within the e-filing system. This is a feature unique to Green Filing. We call it our case summary view. Basically, we're able to put together a picture of the case through all the information we see in the e-filing system so that you can we can paint that out for you here on the screen to let you kind of review what's going on with that case. So you see we have the basic case information. We have a list of the parties on the case. We have a list of the service contacts that have been attached to the case, which we're going to talk about here in a few more minutes. And then a list of all the e-filed documents submitted on this case. So by no means is this the official record of the court, but hopefully based on the data that we can see in the e-filing system, this can be useful to you in terms of trying to stay on top of the recent filing activity on that case. Finally, in the email, you're going to see a link to the filing itself. That's this filing ID link. You can open this up. That'll open up that particular filing within the e-filing system. And you're going to see things like the status at the top. This filing's been accepted. Your brand new case has now been assigned a case number. That's a clickable link here to view that case. Next to each document you had submitted, on the right-hand side, you're going to see a column for the filed copy. This will allow you to access a file stamped version of that document. So yes, that'll be sent to you by email, but if for some reason you don't have access to your email and you want to access it here, just click on this icon here and you can see that file stamped copy. All right, so that is a brand new case filing. Let's now do a new filing on an existing court case. So from the dashboard, we can go ahead and rather than click on initiate a new case, we'll click on file on existing case. That will take us to our new case, our existing case filing screen. And the nice thing about this is almost identical to what we just got done doing. So we should be able to move through this very quickly. It's also much easier because we don't have to select our court, our case type, enter all the party information. When you're filing on an existing case, all you have to do is select the case from the list of cases you've added to the e-filing system to file on it. Now in this instance, maybe you're going to be filing on an existing court case that you've not added to your e-filing account yet. Well, that's very simple then. That's what this add a case link is for on the right-hand side. We'll just go ahead and click that link, and that allows us to select the court. So maybe this time it's Cook County, and then go ahead and enter a case number. As long as your case number and your court match, as soon as you click add case, that allows us to reach into that court, retrieve that case, pull it back, show it to you on the screen, and you can continue on with your filing. If you don't know the case number, there's also an option here for advanced case search. You click that link. Again, you can select your court, and then I'm just kind of making up something here. You can search by either an individual or a business name. So this will allow us to search the court from for any cases matching your search criteria. We'll display a list of those to you on the screen, and you simply select the one you want to file on. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and select on one of my existing cases. And again, this field is filterable. So if you start typing a case number or a party name here, it'll filter the list down and you can select it very quickly. So that's going to load up into step one, and then we'll go through the filing process. So this time, here's the options available to me on an existing case filing. So maybe I'm filing some sort of motion. I'll go ahead and select that. Maybe I want to call it a motion to continue. I'm going to browse out and select my motion. Again, you can upload as many documents as you need to as long as you're submitting them on this particular case. So maybe I have, I don't know, we'll do some sort of affidavit along with this as well. Maybe I'll say this is an affidavit of Joe Smith. Click to upload. We'll choose our affidavit. So again, you can upload as many documents as you need to. I'll stop with those two, move on to section 3. I'm going to make these both non-confidential. And then here are my optional services again. So again, I encourage you to review these just to show you what these fees look like. I'll go ahead and select one of these. Let's do, I'll go ahead and do this jury demand fee, $212. So I'm asking for a jury demand. I know I need to pay the fee. So that will then get added to our fees section. Section 4, new case parties. Now, not likely I'd be adding parties to a case when I'm filing a motion, but maybe if you're filing an amended complaint, cross-claim, third-party complaint, something like that, you're going to add parties to the case. So you have the opportunity to go ahead and add them just by clicking this link and filling out the party information. For this example, we won't do that. We'll continue on to step 5, where I'm going to select the party I'm filing on behalf of. In section 6, service contacts. So this is new. Now we have the opportunity to electronically serve anybody on the case. So what we are seeing here is a list of service contacts who have already been attached to this case. We go ahead and assume that if you're filing on the case, you're going to want to electronically serve everybody, so we default these all to checked. But you should know that just because you're added as a service contact and attached to a case does not mean that you will always be electronically served. It is completely up to the filer whether or not they want to serve somebody electronically. I could easily just say, no, I don't want to serve any of these guys, and uncheck them all. Or maybe I just want to serve a couple of them. So it's completely up to the filer. The filer at this time could also add new service contacts. So that's what this link is for here, add service contact. That pops up a dialog here where you can choose service contacts that you've created in your firm. So if I want to select a couple of these, I can go ahead and select them, click add and attach. The other option is I could create brand new contacts. So maybe I have somebody named Joe Smith that I need to serve. We'll just go ahead and add their name and email address. You can also associate a service contact to a particular party and then click add and attach. So you can have as many service contacts as you'd like attached to a case and then serve as many as you'd like. What happens when you have service contacts is when I submit this filing, the court system is going to generate an electronic service notification to each of these people. That notification is tracked. We know where it's been sent. We know whether or not it's been opened. The content of the service notification email will also contain a list of all the service contacts who got a copy of that. So any one service contact is going to know who else was served. They'll be able to click a link in that email to view the document, and the fact that they've done that is tracked as well. We're going to show you what that email looks like here in just a few moments. So let's move on to section 7. Again, we have our motion, we have the filing fee or the jury demand fee that was added in. I'm going to go ahead and click to confirm to see, reach out to the court, make sure these fees are accurate. Everything looks good. I'll use my credit card to pay for this. We'll move on to section 8. We'll select our attorney. Now this time, client matter number, that defaulted in because last time I filed on this case, this is the client matter number I used. So we assume it's going to be the same. If you need to change it, you always could. Same thing with courtesy copy. Last time I filed, I sent courtesy copies to this email, so we assume you want to do that again. If not, you could always remove it. Type a note to the clerk, verify all is good, submit filing. So again, we're packaging up all the data and documents, submitting to the court. Court's going to acknowledge receipt. We'll redirect to the filing status screen. Your status is pending, meaning it's pending in the clerk's review, and you have an envelope number assigned. All the same email notifications go out as a result of this filing, so you'll be on the lookout for that, plus one additional. And that is going to be the email that's generated to all the service contacts that were attached to your filing. They're going to receive an email that looks like this. It'll say notification of service, and it'll indicate the case number and the case name in the subject line. Service contact's going to open this up. They're going to see some information about the filing that was generated. They're going to see a list of all the service contacts who received a copy of this, and they get a link to view the document. So as a service contact now, I'm basically accepting service and viewing the document. So once I click that link, it's going to open up that document in my browser. This was just a dummy document that I'd filed earlier, but you can see they're seeing a version of the document that's filed. Now this document is file stamped. The fact that it's file stamped is really just a timing issue based on when the service contact opens it. If they open this document prior to the clerk having reviewed and accepted it, it won't have a file stamp on it. If they open it after, it will have a file stamp. So just a timing issue based on when the service contact opens it. All right, so that is an existing case filing. So let's go back here to the dashboard. I need to point out a couple other things, and I'm going to try to move quickly. I'm a little behind on schedule. So one, there's something called an unindexed case filing. What this is when the court's case management system may not be fully integrated with the e-filing system. So maybe you're going to try to file a document on an existing court case. So you're going to click File on Existing Case. In step one here, you've not added the case to your account. So you go, okay, I'm going to add the case. And you go ahead and put in the court number, the court and the case number. You click Add Case, and the system comes back and says, we can't find that case. So you go, okay, let me try. I'm going to search by advanced search. I'll search by name this time. So you go ahead and enter the name information. You click Add or Search. System comes back and says, we can't find that case. What that probably means is that that court's case management system is not fully integrated with the e-filing system. When that occurs, what you're going to do is you're just going to hit this file into unindexed or non-indexed case link here from this advanced search screen. That will take you to a screen where basically you get to define the case. So you enter the court, the case type, you type in the case number, you're going to enter the party information, submit your filing on that case to the court. The court clerk will then review the filing, make sure that the case actually does exist, go ahead and accept the filing, and then that makes a record of the case now in the e-filing system so that next time you just need to select the case rather than search for it. So that's what we call an unindexed case filing. I also want to note that if you were going to file today on a Cook County existing case, their case management system is not yet integrated with the e-filing system. So you would just go directly to this screen. You know, do file on existing case, add case, advance, file on unindexed case, rather than doing all the searches. Now that's supposed to change in about a week. In about a week, Cook County should be fully integrated so that you can search by case number to pull up your cases. Speaking of Cook County, I now want to show you the additional features you're going to see when you're e-filing into Cook County. So everything that we've done thus far applies to Cook County, but there's some additional things that you'll see in Cook County as well. So let's take a look at those quickly. I'm going to click on Initiate a New Case. This time for my case, I'm going to select Cook County, and we'll do Civil District 1, Chicago. We'll go ahead and select our case type. So maybe this is a breach of contract. Okay, now notice right away we have some things that look different. For Cook County, they use something called case cross-reference codes. One of the codes that you're always going to have to input is your Cook County attorney code. So we'll go ahead and put that. Depending on the case type, there may be other options available here, like property IDs or motion types, or depending on the case type, there may be different options here as well. But you'll always put your Cook County attorney code. In addition, for certain case types, it's going to require that you enter an ad damnum, or your damage or claim amount. So you would go ahead and enter that into this field here. So those are the first two differences between Cook County. The next thing in Cook County is for your document type, rather than select complaint, you're going to select your case type again. So for document type, they want you to select the case type again. And then in document description, you could go ahead and select complaint. Whoops. Then you'll go ahead and browse out and upload your complaint. I'm just kind of rushing through this here so I can show you the differences. We'll go ahead and this time and just do our security. We'll enter our parties. So this is all the same as what we've done before. So I'm just going to quickly fill these out so we can move on. We'll select the party we're filing on behalf of. No e-service. We have our filing fees. We'll confirm those. Okay, so Section 8. This is new. So in Cook County, there's the idea of indicating a return date. So you'll either say a return date is not applicable, or you can indicate it's out of state or in-state service by checking this box, and then you can select a return date. Once you select a return date, you can click Verify. That's going to reach out to the court system and verify whether or not that date works or not. If it works, it'll come back and say it's been verified. If it doesn't work, they're going to change the date and say it's been changed and verified. So I guess the assumption is you'll just accept that and move on. So this is one of the major differences with Cook County as well. Last part here, we're going to go ahead and enter this information and then submit our filing. Now notice when we submit our filing, something a little different happens. We're going to be redirected to the next screen, and rather than being shown that filing status screen, we're going to see a pop-up here. You'll also notice in the background, our filing's been submitted, the status is now pending. It also indicates here that our filing's been submitted and the status is pending. But it says, would you like to schedule a hearing date? So in Cook County, we now have the option to schedule a hearing date. Again, we're on the test system, so this is not always fully functional, but what you would typically see is a list of all the hearing dates available here. So you would just go ahead and select that, and then you would click the request hearing date. Or you could say, no, I don't want to schedule a date now, and just click not now. So that'll land you back on your filing. You'll see the status is pending, meaning it's pending the clerk's review. You also see that envelope number is assigned. You can scroll down on this filing here, and you'll see there's a hearing date section now. So as long as your filing is still pending the clerk's review, they've not accepted it or anything like that, you can always come back and go ahead and request a hearing date. In this section, you'll just go ahead and click this link to request a hearing date. So as long as your filing is still pending, you can do that. So those are the additional features available in Cook County that you aren't seeing in the other courts. Some of the other courts may adopt these things later, but these are things that are in Cook County now. So I wanted to quickly point that out. Finally, I just want to make you familiar with a couple of additional screens. One is the filing status screen here on the left-hand side. Notice this tab has some counts next to it, 142, 27, and 2. These match the counts here on the dashboard. I have 142 pending filings, 27 drafts, and 2 rejected. If I click the 142, it's just going to go to my filing status screen and show me my pending filings. If I click the 27, just my drafts. Drafts are filings you've started but not actually submitted to the court. Click the 2, my rejected filings. There's also some filing filters for the filing status screen here in the upper right. You can say, show me all filings. You could say, show me just my accepted filings. You can do things like type a filing ID in here and select just that filing ID just to look up that one particular filing. Whoops, I must have mistyped that. You can select a case and say, show me the filings on this case. So lots of different options here. Once you're viewing the filing status screen, you see a filing ID. This will allow you to click that ID and open the filing. Status of pending, that's probably going to be most important to you. You're going to look for things like accepted, rejected, so on and so forth. If there's an envelope next to the filing status, this means that there were service contacts attached to that filing. So it's indicating that the service of those documents is in process. You see the date time submitted. You see the case number, which is clickable to view the case. If it's a new case, it'll say new, and then when the court accepts it, this will update with the assigned case number. And finally, you're going to see the lead document submitted in that filing. This is mostly just for reference, so you can kind of figure out which filing this is. If there were multiple documents submitted, then you'll see like a +1 or +2 more at the end here. So that's the filing status screen. There's also this notifications tab on the left-hand side. Notice it says 11 notifications. That matches over here on the dashboard, 11 notifications, and also shows you 11 notifications here. What these are notifications, service notifications that have been sent to you. So anytime you are selected as a service contact, either by yourself on your filing or by others filing on cases and selecting you as a service contact, you're going to receive that electronic service notification email. The nice thing is, though, that the court provides us a copy of that service notification. And because we know email can be unreliable, just because it was sent to you doesn't mean you saw it, doesn't mean it didn't get caught up in a spam filter or something like that. So we take a copy of any service notification given to us, and we log a copy of that onto your e-filing account under this notifications tab. You see the last 15 that have been sent to you right here on the dashboard. You see an indication here on the dashboard as well. If you click View All, this is going to show you that notification screen, and you can open these up and see the documents that have been generated and sent to you. So I quickly wanted to mention that, both the notifications and the filing status tab. And finally, last item, just in the nick of time here, we're right at the end of the hour. There's also an option here for Create Serve Only. Now you might ask, what is that for? Let me point out just a couple of things for you here. I'm going to go and show you all my accepted filings, and then notice there's a filing here where the envelope icon is opened. This means that all the service contacts on this filing have opened this filing. If I click the filing ID, I can scroll down to that filing to the service contact section, and notice there's now a status column on the right-hand side indicating that each service contact opened these documents on this date and time. So that's useful information. You know now that when you electronically serve documents that they've been sent, whether or not they've been opened, and you could use that information. Hopefully it'll be useful to you. It also gives you the opportunity, if you don't need to file a document with the court, but you do need to serve it on opposing counsel or on parties on the case, you can use this create serve only feature on the left-hand side. What this does is allow you to upload a document to the system on a particular case and submit it to the system for the purpose of service. It will not be filed with the court. It'll simply utilize the system to generate those electronic service notifications and then allow you to track whether or not the service contacts have received and opened those filings or those documents. All right, so I apologize. I have gone over our time just a little bit, but I believe I have shared everything with you that I needed to share with you today. We talked a little bit about what's going on in Illinois in terms of electronic filing, showed you how to file, how to create an account, make sure it's configured with payment accounts and users in order to get started, showed you how to file a new case, how to file on an existing case, the differences in Cook County versus the rest of the state, and showed you how to monitor filing status both through all the email notifications generated and the filing status screen. So at this time, I want to take any questions that you all might have. Before I do that, I do want to share with you that if you do choose to utilize Green Filing as your e-filing service provider, the first 3 months of service with us is always free. After that, it's just $1 per filing submission. It allows you to take advantage of the ease of use of Green Filing, all of the features that we have to offer, the 24/7 support. Excuse me, I just got the hiccups there. So encourage you to give that a try after 3 months. You could always make a change or you continue on with the service. We think that you'll enjoy it and you'll enjoy the support that you receive. So what I'd like to do now is answer any questions you all might have. We are beyond the end of the hour, so if you do need to exit the webinar, feel free to do so. You will get your certificate of attendance. But if you can hang out for a few minutes, I'm going to answer these questions, and then I'm going to show you guys some additional features of the system. All right, so let's see what questions we have. Somebody asking if the presentation is available to download. Yes, it is. I'm going to email you this presentation after we're done with the webinar here. So be on the lookout for that. Let's see, how accurate would you say the comparison chart is posted at efile.illinoiscourts.gov? Also, specifically, how would you compare Green Filing with File and Serve Express or Odyssey eFile, both of which we have used a few times? Well, all I can speak to about the comparison chart that you see on the website is the information that we've posted. I can see the other e-filing service providers and what they've posted, whether it's accurate or not. I really have no idea. I am familiar with many of their systems. I don't imagine that they would lie on there. But having been familiar with all of the other systems, I can assure you that Green Filing is the easiest to use. It's the fastest to use. It's the easiest to use. And you're going to get the support you need. We answer the phone immediately. If for whatever reason we don't, we call you right back. The live chat support, by far and away our most common support option, is available to you 24/7 right from the e-filing screen. Our chat agents are extremely knowledgeable and can provide you the assistance you need right then and there. We can even do screen shares to see what's going on with your filing and help you out. So as it compares to something like File and Serve Express, again, much cheaper, easier to use. As it compares to the Odyssey eFile Illinois system, that is by far the slowest, most basic system. You're going to find Green Filing much faster to use. The features of the filing process, the features of accessing cases, notifications, filing status, all of that much easier and faster to get to. And you'll see some of these things too. I'm going to show you some other things in terms of reporting features, some features that we have coming soon that you'll be able to take advantage of as well. So a good question, but yeah, and I encourage you to give Green Filing a try. You'll notice the difference right away. We're confident in that. So let's see, I don't see DuPage County on the list of available counties. Will Green Filing be available for DuPage soon? So I mentioned, perhaps you weren't on the webinar at the beginning, DuPage County was granted an extension to participate in the eFile Illinois system. So vendors like Green Filing, we're certified under the eFile Illinois system. We're only able to provide service to courts that are participating in the eFile Illinois system. All counties in the state of Illinois will eventually become part of the eFile Illinois system. DuPage County was granted an extension by the Supreme Court to become part of the system. They are actually granted an extension all the way till July of 2019. When that date occurs, they will be available through Green Filing. Until then, you have to use one of the providers that DuPage County is explicitly under contract with. All right, to confirm, we filed directly on Green Filing website and no longer filed through the clerk's website. So yes, as of July 1, the existing e-filing site in Cook County will no longer be available. You'll have to use one of the eFile Illinois service providers. So we encourage you to use Green Filing. Can you add a case even if you are not of record in the case? In the same way one used to pull a court file to someone else's case because it involves an entity you are also suing in a separate matter, so on and so forth. Yes, so you can add a case in the e-filing system that you are not an attorney of record on. In fact, you have to be able to do that because maybe you're intending to file an appearance on that case. So you can add those cases and you can see information about the case. Access to documents on a case, however, is limited. You are not able to just access any document on any case. You're only able to access documents that A, you either filed yourself, or B, have been served upon you. So even though you may see a list of all the documents e-filed on a case, you're only able to access documents in those instances. The courts won't allow us to provide full access to a case. We wish they would. That would be a great feature of the e-filing system, but unfortunately they do not. All right, next question. Sort of a follow-up to DuPage. Even though DuPage County received the extension to 2019, are we able to e-file through Green Filing dashboard? Unfortunately, no. DuPage County has not made themselves available for that purpose. They're pretty adamant about sticking with their own e-filing system until that July 2019 date. So hopefully that will change. But I don't have my fingers crossed. Okay, so why are filings rejected? Good question. So this could be for all kinds of different reasons. One, it could be as simple as you just uploaded the wrong document on the wrong case. Or maybe instead of uploading your motion, you uploaded a grocery list. So that's kind of the simplest thing. Could be mistakes on the document. Could be technical issues with the document. Maybe there's a issue with your PDF document. It's malformed or it's got a virus or something like that. So there's all kinds of reasons it could be rejected. The court clerk will always respond with a reason for the rejection, so you know exactly what to correct and how to resubmit. Somebody's just asking what our website is again. Very simple, greenfiling.com. Click on Illinois. Is a notice of filing automatically generated for motions? So no, within the eFile Illinois system, those things are not automatically generated, but that may be something that changes as e-filing matures throughout the state, but particularly in Cook County. But at this time, no, they're not automatically generated. What is the monthly cost? There is no monthly cost to Green Filing. It's a per transaction fee of $1 per filing submission. So we don't have any monthly costs. You'll just see our service fee built into the filing fee as you submit your filings. All right, next question. If I represent the children, not a party, in a domestic relations case, am I able to file a petition on Green Filing? Yes, absolutely. So you can pull up any case that's available for e-filing and e-filing whatever documents you need to. You don't necessarily need to have any specific, anybody can file anything in any case. Let's just put it that way. All right, so those are all the questions that have been posted thus far. I want to show you guys a few additional things. So if you have time to hang out, please do. If you do need to leave, feel free to do so. We appreciate you having attended. But I want to show you guys a few other things of the system. So I'm going to go back here to my web browser, and we've spent all of our time in this e-filing tab. So I just want to show you, if I click on the Settings tab, this will take you to an area where you can manage all of your account information. So here's our law firm account information. You can edit your user information. You have the ability to set a forwarding address for a particular user. So if you want copies of email to be sent to a secondary address, you can do that here. And actually, under the account information, if you want copies of all emails sent to anyone in your firm also sent to like a firm email, you know, some firms have like a docketing email they want things to go to, things like that. You can set that here under the account information. Changing password, pretty self-explanatory. We've talked about the Manage Users screen. If you need to add users, though, you can get to it directly by going to Settings and Manage Users. Same thing with payment settings. If you need to manage or edit payment settings, go to Settings and Payment Settings. User preferences. There are a number of user preferences available to you throughout the system. Most of these things have to do with how things display to you in the system. We also have some options to turn on and off different emails that are generated. So you can manage these. I encourage you to play around with these, make sure that your account's set up the way that you'd like it. Service contacts. As you create service contacts in the system, they are saved here on this service contact screen. Anytime you need to edit any information about a service contact, this is the place to do it. So you'll go ahead and come here. You can click the edit link. If their name is edited, their email is edited, what it needs to be updated, whatever, you can do that here. The nice thing about this is once you update it, this will update that information across all the cases that they might be attached to. You'll also notice on this screen we have the address fields. This is in anticipation of a new feature we're going to be offering soon, which would allow you through the filing process to request that we serve somebody either by U.S. mail or by certified mail. So of course, to do that, you'll have to put in an address for the service contact, but that would be another available service option as you go through the e-filing process. Of course, there would be an additional service fee for that to cover postage and handling, but it would be a nice feature for you if you want to go ahead and file something, serve folks electronically, or serve them by mail or certified mail. And the nice thing about certified mail now is there's an option to get the proof of service back electronically, you know, that they've signed the card and received the mail. So a pretty cool feature that we're working on. Hopefully I have available in the next 6 or 8 weeks here. Finally, there's a reports tab at the top. We have several reports you can generate out of the system to give you detailed information regarding your filing activity. The most common one is this filing activity report. You can run this for any date range. So let me just expand my date range here a bit and go ahead and run that report. This is going to show you a list of all your filings, and you can see it provides quite a bit of data about each filing. Probably the thing you'll be most interested in is this client matter number and the filing fee. So this could be a really useful report for bookkeeping staff, accounting staff, to kind of see a list of all the filings that have been done for a specific time period and then bill back fees to your clients on those filings. This report can be downloaded to either Excel or PDF. In fact, all reports in our system can be downloaded that way. If I download this to Excel, nice thing about that is once you have it in Excel, you can filter it, format it, sort it in any way you'd like. You can save it to your computer, share it with others in your firm, whatever you need to do. All right, so the next report we have is a report called Filing Activity by Case. This is very similar, except rather than just show you a list of all the filings, what we do is we will group them by case. So we'll go ahead and run that report, and you'll see here for this particular case, here's the filings that were occurred, and we can subtotal the fees that have been paid on that case as well. So very similar report, just a different way to look at it by case rather than just a giant list. Similarly, you can do it by client. So again, if we select our date range, so this is filing activity by client. You can either enter a specific client's number here to see just their filings, or if you leave this blank, then we're just going to group all the filings by client. So for this client, here's the filing. Let's see if we have one. Here's one with a few filings. So again, we'll subtotal the fees. All these reports, again, downloadable to PDF or Excel. There's also filing activity by payment account. This one's a little bit different. This is a report that's going to show you all your filings but we're going to group them by the payment method that you used. So here's all the filings done using this payment account. The intent of this report is to allow you to reconcile it against your credit card or your bank account statements. So for any given time period, you can run this report and make sure that the fees and things match up here with what you're seeing on your credit card or bank account statements. Finally, there's a report we just call it the case list report. This will just show you a list of all the cases you've added to your e-filing account. So if for any reason you want to see a list of all your cases, it shows you your case name, case title, court name, client matter you might assign to that case. Again, you can download this, print it out, whatever you need to do. There's also an account tab at the top here. This tab, only firm administrators on your law firm account will see. Gives them a little bit more control over the account, allows them to change account information, actually allows them to delete users or delete payment accounts, things like that, things that other users may not be able to do. All right. And then finally, the last thing I want to show you, just as another feature of the system, is this recent cases list over here on the left. We showed you how you can access cases, but one of the nice things about Green Filing over all the other e-filing service providers is we make accessing cases you've been working on extremely easy. You just come here, you can click on your recent case list. That'll pull up that case. From this screen, you can view the case information. And let's say, oh, I want to file on this case now. So you just go ahead and click the File on Case button in the upper right. That'll take you right to the filing screen. You see this is a Cook County case, so we preload that information, and then it has the Cook County features. The other option you have if you're viewing a case is you can edit the case info, or we have some edit options about a case. In the upper right, you'll see this edit link. If you click that, this allows you to give it a custom name. So if you just want to call this the meter maid case, you can default the client matter number for that case. You can create a default courtesy copy email for that case. And there's a notification setting here on whether or not you want to receive alerts about the case. So if I save the changes here now, notice on the left-hand side in my case list, it's using my custom case name. So it says meter maid case. And now if I file on this case, if I scroll down here, it's going to default in the client matter number and default in my courtesy copy. So just some nice features to be able to make the filing process faster. Finally, I want to show you this View All Case screen. So this is going to be a list of all your cases you've added to the system. You can scroll through them using these tabs over here. You have the option to star a case, which basically will pin that case to your recent case list. So you can see this Potts, this Chicago Bulls, and this Meter Maid case. Those are the first 3 cases on my case list. So if there's any case you want to pin to your case list, this is the place to do it. As soon as you refresh your browser, then those will be the cases pinned on the left-hand side. All right, so I just want to take a few moments to show you some of those additional features. That's pretty much all I have to share with you all today. So I want to thank you for having attended. Oh wait, we have a couple questions that have been added, so let me take a look at those. So how do we get, question, how do we get paid our $1 fee? So I believe we saw during the filing process where our fee was determined. Let's show you that. So if I go, let me just pull up one of my draft filings here, that'll be easier. So I'm going to scroll down here to the filing fees section. Notice under our fees that we're going to pay, Green Filing has added in our provider fee of $1. What actually happens is the court's vendor, Tyler Technology, they collect our fee for us, and then they remit our fees back to us monthly. So it's a pretty seamless process where you can pay your fees at the same time as you're paying all your court filing fees. The court's vendor, Tyler Technologies, does all the processing of fees, and as they process those fees, the court gets their portion, and Green Filing gets our portion. So it's kind of a nice way of how they've set it up. So yeah, it's built into the filing process. No Amex with Green Filing. So Green Filing, well, basically some courts do not allow Amex to be used. In fact, most courts don't. Some courts do. If the court allows fees to be paid with Amex, then yes, you pay the fee to Green Filing with Amex as well. That said, we do have an option in our system to collect fees external to the filing fees. In other words, we can collect your fees. We have an option to bill you monthly for your fees. And if we bill you monthly, then we can use an Amex. But the default way to do it is just for it to select during the filing process, or to pay during the filing process. If you're interested in a monthly invoice, contact us and we can set you up with that. All right. Do you already compare file and serve express to green filing? I think we talked a little bit about comparisons earlier, but I mean, obviously we're partial. Green filing has been designed, and we believe is the fastest, easiest e-filing service provider to use. We're the cheapest of all the e-filing service providers at just $1 per filing submission. File and Serve Express, I believe, is, I don't know exactly, I think it's $4 or $5. And we provide 24/7 support. You're going to get all the features that you see in all the other e-filing service providers, plus be faster and easier to use. So I would encourage you to just give them both a try. Give green filing a try. You'll go through the filing process. You'll see how fast and easy it is to use. And then it's a no-brainer from there, I think. But it's free for 3 months with us, so you're welcome to give it a try. You just use your exact same login that you've used with any other service provider, and you can go on with the process. All right, so those are all the questions that have been posted. I want to thank everybody for having attended the webinar today. I really appreciate your attendance. Be on the lookout for your certificate of attendance. So we'll send that out in an hour or so here. We'll have both a certificate for attorneys and a certificate for any paralegals that might be on the webinar. I encourage you to reach out to us if you have any questions at all. Give us a call, use the live chat on our website, email us, support@greenfiling.com, or email me directly. I'm just george@greenfiling.com. Other than that, I wish you all a great rest of your day. Feel free to exit the webinar. I'm going to go ahead and hang out here for a couple of minutes just to see if there's any final questions I can answer. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day. And like I said, I will hang out here in case there's any questions I can answer.